I want to begin by thanking all of you for coming out today to help the DC courts, the DC Superior Court, and our family courts celebrate the grand opening of our third BARJ Drop-In Center. The Balanced and Restorative Justice Drop-In Center is born from a concept with respect to BARJ, which holds that when a crime occurs in the community, the offender, the victim, and the community are impacted. And so when we talk about restoration, we have to address the needs of all three of those entities that have been impacted by crime. And I want to take a moment to celebrate the hard work, the vision, and the leadership of our DC Superior Court, because we are fortunate in the District of Columbia. We have a chief judge who began as the presiding judge of the family court, and so the BARJ facility and this vision and this model literally has carried on through our chief judge, the Honorable Lee F. Satterfield. And the chief will be joining us to say some remarks and introduce some of our speakers. But I did want to take just a brief moment to say thank you to all of you for coming out. As you know, if those of you who came by way of M Street, you saw we were initially intended to have this grand opening outside on M Street. But as luck would have it and the weather would have it, despite all of the energy that we channeled above, we had a contingency plan, which was to do this inside. And so with that said, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our Chief Judge, the leader of our DC Superior Court.
Thank you, Terry, and good morning, everyone. Good morning. I, too, want to thank our many partners who are here, including Councilmember Tommy Wells, who I'll say something about in a minute. And we're expecting others to be here. I know that Attorney General Andy Boyce is here, and I want to welcome Andy Boyce to our partnerships. And I'm going to vouch for Andy because some of you may not know the Assistant Attorney General Andy Boyce. Well, I do for many years of being a prosecutor in this community here in the District of Columbia. And so it's excited to have you come back and to work with you in your new capacity. And of course, we have other people, other criminal justice partners here that from the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Noam Butler from C. Sosa, Nancy Ware from Pretrial Services Agency, Clifford Keenan. But we also have here today someone man I want to recognize, and if you're here and stand up, that's Ron McBee. Ron McBee, is he here yet? That's okay, I'll talk about it anyway. And the ANC Commissioner for this area, and he has provided us with invaluable insights and assistance to get us to where we are today. We know that Mr. McBee clearly cares about our youth in this town. And I want to thank this Southwest community, including as part of that, Councilmember Wells, because you want to know who's coming into your neighborhood. And as a resident of this city, you should know who's coming into your neighborhood. And you should question who's that coming into my neighborhood. And so there were a few questions about us coming here, and part of it was because we came first and we answered the questions later. But we're here, and we're delighted to be here, and we're appreciative of all those who helped us answer the questions in the community. People like Tommy Wells, who came to the community, other police officials who came to the community, Terry and her staff who came, and members of the ANC, who we actually had met with prior to this project happening. And so we knew a few of them, which was very helpful. It was part of my program to meet every ANC commissioner and bring them to the courthouse. They have been part of that program so that we can learn more about each other. And so we're here today in opening this facility to also make a commitment to you, to prove to you what we said to you when we were talking about coming here, which is that the center will help make your community safer and will help reduce reoffending in our juvenile population, and at the same time reduce reoffending, help to rehabilitate and grow young people into young adults and to people in your community that will work and be productive. They will succeed, and as they succeed, they will exceed the expectations of many people. And so that's what we're here to do, and that's what we plan to do, and that's what we are going to be working hard to do. And the people who are going to be doing that are our probation officers and part of the court services staff, and since I'm chief judge, and that's part of my group. Where are you? Stand up. Stand up. We want to recognize you. Here, and thank you for the work that you have been doing to make not just this drop-in center operational, but to make the other drop-in centers that we have in the city a success for us. And when I say success for us, it's really a success for the community, because if we do our things right with the juvenile offending population that we work with, the young people that we work with, this community will be safer and better for us. And that's our goal, to help the community as well as help the young people who come here. It's actually been, Tommy, 10 years. Family Court Act is over 10 years. Yes. Yeah, Tommy Wells was involved in the Family Court Act being passed, and since that time we've received generous support from Congress to expand our facilities. One like this would not be possible without that. Congress supporting it, and Congress supporting it would not have been possible without the Family Court Act having been passed. And so, Mr. Wells, we want to thank you for your leadership in that area and getting that done, because I do think these things are all sometimes connected, but people forget about the connections over periods of time. Sometimes you have to remind them, not just because we want to say, oh, I want to take credit, but you remind them so that people can see the kind of collaboration and work that can happen. And that has happened to make things better in our city. And so it's been about 10 years since that act passed. And so this center, because I'm going to wrap it up, we're going to hear from Mr. Wells in a minute, it's going to be like the other centers for you on probation or waiting trials who need more structure than the weekly and bi-weekly check-in with their probation officer, school and curfew check. But they're also going to be provided with activities, they're going to be provided with life skills, if they need tutoring, mentoring, any type of service that we think that's going to improve them, and help improve how they live, help improve them with their families, and help their families and so forth. It's going to be open to center every afternoon and early evening, that fearful hour for parents. I have teenagers now, 17 and 15-year-olds. And I don't tell them what time I'm coming home now. I don't know, where's mom? I don't know, she could be on the road. That 3 to 6 p.m. time period. There's some national studies that tell us there's some stuff that goes on in that period that I don't even want to think about. But you get what I'm saying, right? I'm not just talking about people committing crime. Although with my 15-year-old, it'll be a crime no matter who it is. I'm just putting the word out there. But it is an hour that parents need our support. And so it's certainly open during those hours, but it's also open as well on Saturdays for activities, like I said, counseling, community service, vocational training. And we're in a building that was for vocational training. And it's also going to be made available to people in the community that want to use it during that time period, because we are here because you have allowed us, and we want to be good neighbors. And with that in mind is the fact that if any problems arise, you have to come to us and tell us. Tell Ms. Oldham. Tell the people in charge, so that we can work on it. I really mean that. Don't let it just fester. Such that, I invite you to one of our ANC meetings and you just kind of like throw it all out there. I don't want it to fester. I want you to talk about it. Because we're like neighbors. You would tell your neighbor to cut that tree down because it's about to fall on your house, well, you come tell us that, you know, you better look at this because this is becoming a problem. Okay, so let me end this by just commenting about Mr. Wells, who I've known a long time. He's a tireless advocate for the youth here in the district, and not just for that, for the people in the district, because he has done this, the youth, like I hate to say it, Tommy, but it's been for decades that he's been doing it. But look at him, he looks great, doesn't he? But it's been for decades, but he also does other things, obviously, for our community, in other areas of our community, which he is doing now, but he never forgets about the youth, and he's here, and we're here in his ward, and so it's a pleasure for me to introduce to you Council Member from Ward 6, Tommy Wells.
Thank you, Judge Lee. You know, just to take a little departure just for a moment, some of us have been watching the TV late at night, past 2 nights, a few of us. And as I look at some amazing speeches, and I can be partisan, I'm a Democrat, and I have watched different leaders from across our country call us to moral leadership, to investing in our youth, for helping. Really, a lot of the discussion is about we're all in this together, as opposed to some other groups that say you're on your own. And as I listen to these great leaders and think about what they do in their own communities, I think about our own local leadership. And one of the people that I think about that I am so proud of and so thankful that we have as a leader really is our Chief Judge, Lee Satterfield. I am not surprised to see Judge Satterfield out here with his staff and the resources of the court out in the neighborhoods. I'm not surprised by the amount of energy, time, and thoughtfulness on creativity of finding new ways to see that our young people are safe, that our neighborhoods are safe, and that young people have a possibility of a better future. Because Judge Satterfield, that is who he is, and that is where his heart is. And I think of when he and I worked on a truancy initiative years ago, of how much time and how much he brought his weight to the issue. And that's, again, I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of that relationship. I also am very happy to be here with many of you, including, of course, Nancy Ware, where you've worked on youth issues with me for years. I can remember, I think Jesse Jackson was involved in one of our weekly meetings, and we're working on youth issues. And of course, we have our representative for the mayor, who is here, Mr. Quander, who is our deputy mayor for public safety and justice, someone who is certainly on call 24 hours on all of our behalf, and our representatives from MPD, and of course Mr. Foyce from the Attorney General's office, who is here, and everyone else. I also want to acknowledge that we, as we all know, that we're a court initiative in a neighborhood, and it takes a neighborhood to make things work. And for everyone that lives in this neighborhood, in this area, I see many of you here. If you'll just raise your hand and say, and let me say to y'all, thank you for being here, representing your neighbors. Because I know how many meetings you go to, that, and how much you put your time, treasure, and leadership into being sure that we have a great neighborhood and a great place for our families. Then, let me also say that that I have been working, as Judge Satterfield stated, in child welfare and worrying about young people on behalf of the city and on behalf of other organizations for many years. And one of the things that is so important is that we grow, we change, and we innovate. And I am so impressed that, Terry, that you have brought the BARJ program to Washington, D.C., that it's a program that is evidence-based for all of us taxpayers, which we all are, that we want to know that we get a return for the investments that we make, and we're making the right investments. And I know that that's the BARJ program. I want to thank you for your leadership on that. And I know that it's evidence-based. We know it works. And where it really comes down to is the impact in trying to do something about juvenile crime. That often we demonize young people and we say that once you've one strike, we want you out. But the problem is they come back. This is their home. This is their neighborhood. And oftentimes they come back tougher, rougher, and ready to do worse. And so we have to be smarter. We have to act in a way that not only sees that young people, we have an interaction with them that helps to intervene in a way that they're less likely to commit another crime, but also that we're less likely to be another victim. It works for all of us. And this is a smart program. It is a smart investment. And there is a return on this investment in this program, and it's measured in human lives, the quality of our lives, the safety, but also the potential of the young people that we invest in so that they can get on with their lives and come back and contribute, be part of a safe community and a healthy community. So thank you. I'm proud of all of us today, and thank you for everyone for working together. And Judge, thank you again for your leadership.